The already limping Baltimore Ravens, a big limp, suffered unreal setbacks during today's practice. The team fears starting running back Gus Edwards, the latest starting running back, tore his ACL, which will put him out for the season. Baltimore had already lost fellow running backs J.K. Dobbins and Justice Hill for the season. And Adam Schefter says the team also fears it may have lost cornerback Marcus Peters to a torn ACL in today's same practice. It's a practice from hell. Tone, where does all this leave the Ravens?
Well, as they say, it leaves you up a famous creek without a paddle at the moment. This is an amazing circumstance to be in. This cluster of ACL injuries. This is the #1 running offense in all of football, and it is not now. Because now what you have is Lamar Jackson, who is at risk every single time you ask him to run more than you should be having him run. Or you've got Le'Veon Bell, who was great, but it's 4 and 5 and 6 years ago. You don't know if Le'Veon Bell, if he gets promoted to the big team, you don't know what he can do at this point. This is right. The identity of the Baltimore Ravens in the last 25 years is two things. It is defense and it is ball control. You cannot control the ball without a running game because your quarterback is not a 300-yard-a-game passer, and your defense isn't as good as it was when it was great. So I don't know where it leaves them.
Tony, it seems like it leaves them having to make some massive adjustments strategically. You mentioned what the Ravens are. It is not only what they've been since Lamar Jackson, it's really what they've been the last 20 years. You know, and they've won a couple of Super Bowls, and they've been an exciting team and a playoff team. And so Jim Harbaugh is going to have to, do some tap dancing here.
John Harbaugh.
He and his staff.
Jim Harbaugh would be something. John Harbaugh.
Yeah, John Harbaugh, excuse me. Thank you for that. Tony, this is despair land. You lose this many guys. Your #1 running back, then your #3 running back, then your second running back, and you lose a great defensive player, apparently, who you paid a lot of money, a couple of years ago. And Tony, one other characteristic of the Ravens I'm going to mention, in addition to the two that I agree with you on, physical toughness. The Ravens, that's part of what they are. They want to show you they're bulletproof. You can't hurt us. And now you have a practice, to quote Allen Iverson, that takes your team out. Wow.
Okay, so let me just add this right here. And I'm not trying to demean anybody, but you have this cluster of ACL tears. Does that go to coaching? Does that go to training on any level? Should that be investigated, or is it just horrible luck? Is it just horrible luck? Maybe that's all it is. But you ask yourself, what happened here? What happened?
Look, you and I live 30 miles down the street from the Ravens. We're aware of what they are, what they think of themselves, and what people think of them. Wouldn't you list them, if you were just listing the toughest teams, and they're all tough, but if you're listing the toughest teams in the league, wouldn't you have the Ravens in the top 3, 4, or 5, if not higher?
I would always on that list have the two rivals, the Ravens and the Steelers. They would be in my top 5. Always.
Yes.
Always.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.